The Lord of the Rings of Power actors are up to their old tricks. They are attacking fans who love J.R.R. Tolkien and his Lord of the Rings legendarium. Not only are they attacking fans of J.R.R. Tolkien, but fans are expressing their dislike for the Season 2 San Diego Comic-Con trailer for Rings of Power. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. I wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com. And the Season 2 trailer that premiered at San Diego Comic-Con for Rings of Power has surpassed 139,000 dislikes as a number of the actors of the show continue to trash fans of J.R.R. Tolkien and his work. So you can kind of see how this progressed. On July 29th, the trailer had around 8 million views, over 56,000 likes, and 112,000 dislikes. You can see that right there. Earlier this morning, took this screenshot. It has now increased to around 11.6 million views, 71,000 likes, and over 139,000 dislikes. So about a 1-to-2 ratio likes to dislikes. There's almost double the number of dislikes compared to likes. It's not as heavily disliked as the Season 1 San Diego Comic-Con trailer. That one has currently stands at 12 million views. It had over 87,000 likes, but over 474,000 dislikes. So nowhere near the amount of dislikes as Season 1, but it's still up there. People are still not liking this what they're doing here. And based on what I saw in that trailer, it is just going to be absolutely terrible. What they're doing to Tom Bombadil is just a completely different character. It's literally not Tom Bombadil. They're just calling him Tom Bombadil, and it's a skin suit. And same thing with Celebrimbor. They're calling that character Celebrimbor, but it's not Celebrimbor. It's just a skin suit. He's absolutely one of the dumbest characters, or at least that's how they're portraying him, one of the dumbest characters in the show. So not only does this look absolutely terrible, fans aren't liking it, but of course, the actors are getting in their shots on the fans. So actress Morfydd Clark did an appearance on an IGN panel. This was captured by Disparu. This is what she had to say right here. Let's take a listen.
I think also, powerful women, they make people cross. And I feel blessed to play her and to make Sauron cross. Yeah.
They make people cross. Powerful women make people cross. Obviously, an insult to people that have pointed out that Galadriel is not the Galadriel in J.R.R. Tolkien's Legendarium. She is not this warrior princess. She is not this girl boss that they have portrayed her as. She's not this insufferable woman who is like wrong on like every single thing that she does in the show. She's not actually a powerful woman. She is a weak, whiny loser who fails almost all the time in the show. But they're trying to create this image that she's powerful. If you actually watch the show, she's not powerful at all. If you want to see a powerful portrayal of Galadriel, watch actual Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings films, or better yet, read Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, read the Silmarillion, read the Unfinished Tales, where he actually goes into who the character of Galadriel is, something we don't see at all in Rings of Power. But it wasn't just Morfydd Clark. Ismael Cruz Cordova was really back up to his old tricks, attacking fans. He said this during Entertainment Weekly's Brave Warriors panel at San Diego Comic-Con. My character is not in the lore of the Lord of the Rings, and that was an issue for some people. Yes, of course it was. Your character doesn't exist. Does not exist. Of course that's an issue, because your character didn't exist. He then added, it was a, quote, big controversy of me being the first elf that wasn't white. I love the nerve that I pinched. I really do. I was so excited to create something new. A lot of people speaking on behalf of Tolkien. I don't know if they understand the spirit of Tolkien. His work speaks of the times. So this guy clearly is an SJW, following the 3 laws of SJW: lie, double down, and project. He's saying that so he says here, it was an issue that his character wasn't in the lore. And then it's like, oh, it was because I'm not white. Well, yes, because elves they don't look like you. That's not how they're depicted. They clear descriptions of how Tolkien described the elves. They don't look like anything like Ismael Cruz, Cordova. So yes, people should be taking issue with that because it's not how elves are actually depicted in the lore. Now, if Tolkien had wrote them that way, that would be something different, and we would expect him to look like people like Ismael, Cruz, Cordova. Except they're not. That's not how he described them. So this idea that he's saying, I don't know if they understand the spirit of Tolkien. No, we understand the spirit of Tolkien very well, but we also understand that he had clear descriptions of the characters, something that you seemingly don't understand, except that you do because you say that was an issue for some people because I wasn't in the lore. It was an issue for some people because my character doesn't actually look the way elves are depicted. So you do understand that. You understand that why people are actually upset, but you're trying to accuse them of being racist. And it's just so disingenuous and it's disgusting. Because he went on and he said this: we work with these deep existential questions, and those questions change with the times. We can't retell something like Lord of the Rings today, 2024, without introducing different existential questions. And that comes in the form of character. Again, this is what I was talking about. Projection, right? He's accusing us of not understanding the spirit of Tolkien. And then in his next breath, he is literally talking about changing the spirit of Tolkien and changing the existential questions, the themes that Tolkien brings up in The Lord of the Rings, in the Silmarillion, in Unfinished Tales, in his works. He's the one that is admitting that's what he's doing. And he has the gall to accuse us of doing that. That is projection. He reiterated this, saying, we had never really seen an elf that was the people's elf. We'd always seen elves that were royal and regal, but we hadn't seen one that was a frontline soldier, a guy that got an assignment kind of thing. It was pretty cool to represent that and have a voice within elvenness. I think a lot of people identify with this elf and his plight. Like, what is he even talking about? I mean, I get that Legolas is royalty, but he was a frontline soldier depicted in Peter Jackson's movies. We also see the elves literally fighting. They're not supposed to be there, but in the Peter Jackson movies, the elves are there fighting at Helm's Deep. So, like, what is he talking about? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever at all. He didn't stop there, though. He had this to say: it is necessary to revise things and represent and exist. So this is it right here. He recognizes that his character is not in the lore. He recognizes that is not how Tolkien described it, but it doesn't matter because it's all about representation, ideology. It is necessary to revise things and represent and exist. Remember, this is the guy who's telling us that we don't understand the spirit of Tolkien, yet he is now saying it is necessary to revise things. No, he understands it. He knows that we know it, but he is going to lie to our faces, accuse us of this, and then admit that he's changing it on purpose. You can't make this stuff up. This guy is disgusting. I think a lot of people look at us to affirm their own existence. So I'm happy people can look at that and look at any of us and see themselves in this beautiful world we all should belong in, fantasy. What are you even talking about? If there are people actually looking to the show to affirm their existence, you have a lot of other problems, and I will pray for you. I will pray that you are not looking to a television show. You're not looking to celebrities. You're not looking to Hollywood. You're not looking to sports players. You're not looking to any of these like icons to affirm your own existence. God loves you. God created you. That should be what affirms your own existence. He created you. He made you for a purpose. You don't need to have this guy portraying an elf to affirm your existence. It's such a ludicrous idea that I can't even believe I'm like addressing this here, because it's just so bizarre that you would have to see someone on a screen that you've never met, you're never likely going to meet, and that somehow affirms your own existence. Like you didn't exist unless you saw him on a television screen. I mean, just think that's just so ridiculous. It's so crazy. It's so weird. And this whole idea of like representation ideology, like they have to be in fantasy, it's ridiculous too. You don't need it. Wakanda is a perfect example. There's no white people in Wakanda. No one has an issue with that. So this idea that you have to like have this representation or whatever is ridiculous. You can have homogenous ethnic groups in fantasy. That's how it used to be. We used to have homogenous ethnic groups in fantasy, and no one complained about it because we knew that it was fantasy. And we knew that it wasn't about this representation ideology. It was more about the themes that were in the work. And they're trying to destroy those themes. They're trying to destroy them with representation ideology. And Ismael Cruz Cordova is admitting that right here. It is necessary to revise things and represent and exist. It's sick. It's wrong. And we have to oppose this stuff. They are actively trying to destroy J.R.R. Tolkien, his legacy, his lore, and his legendarium. And we will not let them get away with it. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth.